your escape.
This is a thrill for me. Melissa Etheridge is here. Melissa, thanks for coming on TCM.
Thank you so much. It's a real pleasure to be here.
Melissa is part of our series on the most significant political films of all time, taken from the New Republic's list, published last year. You have picked film number 88, The Passion of Joan of Arc from 1928, a silent film. I got to thank you for getting me to watch it again, because it was not as I remembered it. What drew you to the film? Why'd you pick it?
I mean, you can see the bubblings of feminism over a story that was hundreds of years old,
right,
into a time in the 1920s when women just got the right to vote back then. And this is such a feminist story, and just it helps bring into focus sort of all the issues that women have come up against in the last few hundred years and how far we've come, and maybe an understanding of why it's still hard for some reasons. This film, when you see it, you're like, oh, wow, that's really what they were doing to women back then.
Yes, directed by a Danish director, brought to France to make the film, Carl Theodor Dreyer, and taken from much of the transcript of Joan of Arc's 15th century trial. And what's amazing, to your point there, is that so much of the early conversation is about why you dress like a man.
Why?
And can we get you to dress like a girl for this?
How dangerous,
right,
how incredibly dangerous it was for a young woman to dress like a man. I mean, I have memories in the 1960s when I was a child, remembering when we were first allowed to wear pants to school.
Really?
And I grew up in the Midwest where we'd wear dresses in the freezing snow. And it was just what was happening back then. But of course, when you look back, it's like, it's crazy. So then when you look back a couple hundred years to the 15th century, when, you know, Joan of Arc was 17, 18, 19, I mean, young and leading an army. And but all that's okay. But you're dressed like a man.
Yeah, first of all,
we're going to kill you for that.
I couldn't even get past the, like she's not dressed like a man, she's dressed like a soldier.
Yes.
It's like part of what strikes me as bold about Renee Jean Falconetti's world-famous performance here as Joan of Arc is that she doesn't even respond to those questions, right? She just asks them questions in response. Yeah,
her
the judges.
Performance in this is exhausting. He's got her, most of it, just right up in her face.
Yeah.
And you're watching her eyes, and you are realizing this is a woman who's facing death, who, if she just denounced everything she believed, denounced her God and her own strength, well, then she can live. Well, she can live in prison for the rest of her life, but we won't burn her. And I have a 17-year-old daughter, you know, and I think, good Lord, the intensity of what was going on back then. And she wasn't being a feminist. She wasn't saying, you know, women at all. She was saying France, my king, my country, and yet burned her at the stake because...
Yeah, but, right. So she wasn't directly talking about feminism, but what she was talking about was, I am not going to be bullied by you the way clearly, and I think what Dreyer means to convey with the manner in which he shot the judges. When she won't back down, some of them become troubled because they did not anticipate her strength.
Yes, and then it becomes, are you going to martyr this person? When someone chooses death over how they want you to be to make all of them feel better, there's a whole lot of power in that. I don't recommend it.
Yeah.
But, you know, her making that choice, you could see how scared they were. You know, I just bring it right back into today and the conflicts, you know, that we're having today. And they all come out of fear, not understanding gender. I mean, it started with men and women hundreds of years ago. And now it's the different types of, you know, feminine and masculine that there are in the world, and it still scares people.
You think what motivates some of the anger about that, maybe most of the anger about that, is what? Is fear. What is the fear of? The unknown? Of something?
Of the different. We're raised in a society where there's us and them.
Yeah.
And whatever that might be, another country, another color, another language,
I'm going to interrupt you only because we're talking about political movies, and that has always, throughout time, not just in the United States, but across world history, been an incredibly effective political tool. Your life is in danger because of them.
Of them.
Right.
Yes, and easy to point to things that people don't understand. 30 years ago, when I came out, it was just gay in general. That was, most people never talked about it. It wasn't anywhere. So it was easy for politicians to go, yeah, it's their fault. They want to get married. When 9/11 happened, they blamed us. You know, it was always this, and that gay was somehow.
You mean because God hates the United States of America because we're so tolerant
because
of gay people.
Yes, exactly. You know, this sort of, and they easily point it to that. And it's really easy to say your life is bad because of this. And you get this us and them-ism, and it helps no one.
Melissa, this is great stuff. Thank you so much. We'll watch the movie. We'll talk more afterwards. Is that okay with you?
That's wonderful.
Here's the film from 1928, directed by Carl Theodor Dreyer and starring Renee Jean Falconetti, credited as Maria Falconetti, The Passion of Joan of Arc.